All right. So for the next 2 days, we're going to do application problem. Oh, we didn't do the title. You're right. My bad. My bad. Title page. On your title page, we are adding trig word problems on pages 133 through 137. Well, I never put solving for an angle on here. Oops. I didn't. I was bad. I promise you will not run out.
Oh, that's why that's happening.
Okay, so some word problems will already give you pictures built in. Others will not. So you're going to have to draw a picture. Okay. They don't have to be pretty. You've seen my pictures. I'm not an artist. So all we're doing on the first page is you want to try to match up the pictures on the right to the word problems they go with on the left. So I'm trying to find how height above the ground is the kite. That is going to be F. Number 2, how far from the building is the car? How wide is your river? B. How far up will the ladder reach? That one is going to be E. So we've knocked out F and E and B and D. A 90-foot escalator rises 28 feet vertically. That one is going to be C. And then A. That was easy.
It's going to be hard. Exactly.
All right. So we're going to jump here. Okay. It says a guy wire. Go ahead, Sharpie. You're fine. A guy wire. That's what it's called. Okay. It's called a guy wire. So a guy wire is attached to a 100-foot tower that is perpendicular to the ground. The wire makes an angle of 55 degrees with the ground. What is the length of the wire? So we need to first draw ourselves a picture. You need to visualize what's happening here. So what should I draw first? We need a 100-foot tower. Okay, look, my tower is going to look like a rectangle. There it is. We know that's 100 feet, so fill that in too. Okay, we know it's perpendicular to the ground. So what does that mean? Right angle.
Wait, so perpendicular means right angle?
Perpendicular means when the ground and the tower meet, it's a right angle. If they're perpendicular, they form a right angle. Brandon, pick your head up, please. Brandon. Good morning, Brandon. Okay. So you've got this wire that's attached to the 100-foot tower. Okay. We're dealing with what in this unit? Triangle. So obviously we've got to make some kind of a triangle. So if it's attached to the tower, that means it's going to come down to the ground and form this triangle. Okay, it creates a 55-degree angle with the ground. So where does 55 go?
At the top, right?
With the ground.
Oh, at the bottom.
At the bottom, 55 degrees with the ground. So that goes here. They want to know what the length of the wire is.
The top one.
So I'm trying to find this. I'm trying to find my hypotenuse. Okay, I'm trying to find my wire.
That's an adjacent opposite, I believe, or am I like way behind?
Okay, so this is my reference angle then. So what is 100? That's your opposite side. And you already said X is my hypotenuse. So we're dealing with O and H. So we use SOH. S-O-H. So that means we have sine of my angle, which is 55, equals
100 over X.
100 over X.
You cross multiply, right?
Okay. When you're solving for a side, we must cross multiply. So that means we put this over 1. And when I cross multiply, 1 times 100 equals X times the sine of 55. See X by itself then. We must divide by the sine of 55. These cancel. Plug this into your calculator to get your answer. Please make sure that your mode has not changed from degree to radian. So check your mode in your calculator before you plug this in. Please, please, pretty please.
81.92.
I got 122. You honestly change. Check mode. Yeah, I got
Change it
122.
to
Is your mode in degree?
I'm in degree.
Brandon, you're going to stand and take notes if you can't take your head up off that desk. Hey, up. Are you going to stand and take notes? Pick one.
Let me do it again.
Remember, your hypotenuse is the biggest side on your triangle, which means your answer should be over 100. If the length of my tower is 100, that means my hypotenuse should be bigger than that. So if you got something smaller, you know something went wrong. So you got, what was it, 120, 122.1. And this should be in feet.
Oh, I have a question.
Yes.
On homework, it was the first question in the bottom. It was like the answer was 8.9, but then it was like rounded to 9. So like, does it matter?
It depends on what they want you to round it to, that's all.
What is it? Like, what if we just put both answers, like, just in case, like, we didn't know.
But in order to fill it in, it said round it to the nearest degree.
Oh,
So it was
never
looking for 9.
mind. So I got it right.
Hey, why we dividing?
So you can.
To get X by itself, because you've got 100 equals X times the sine of 55. So I need to isolate X by itself. So I have to get rid of the sine of 55.
I feel like I missed.
And if it's being multiplied, you have to divide it to get rid of it. Always the opposite. So just like if I would have had this, Jeremiah, where you had 100 equals X times 2, how do I get X by itself? Divide, because it's being multiplied. So you just have to do the opposite of what's there.
Yes, ma'am.
That's a better way. You should have done that first. Before you showed us.
Because like I was multiplying 100 times the side of 55. I was doing it that way the other day that I was actually here.
It depends on whether it's 100 over X or X over 100, whether you multiply or divide.
So when the number equals the sign or the tangent or anything, that's what he's about.
Because your job is to get the variable by itself. Okay. All right. Example 2. A jet airplane begins a steady climb of 15 degrees and flies for 2 miles. What is the change in altitude in feet? Oh. So we need a picture. We're talking about a plane. So what do you think? What do you think when we draw it? Plane should be where? Up in the air. My plane should be in the air somewhere. It doesn't matter where. So here's my airplane. Yeah, that's a really bad airplane.
Aw,
It's a potato. It's a flying potato.
It's just chubby, okay? Stop making fun of him. Stop making fun of it. You let himself go.
Okay. So, when the airplane takes off, where does it start? On the ground. So, the airplane. So, let's make ourselves a triangle now. Okay. So, it says a jet airplane began a steady climb of 15 degrees. So it's climbing up 15 degrees. Where's 15 going? In this bottom corner. It flew for 2 miles. Where does 2 miles go?
The bottom. No, it would be on the hypotenuse.
It would be on that.
Because it's going up for 2 miles.
It doesn't say it's 2 miles out. It says it's flown for 2 miles. So it's gone from the ground 2 miles. We'll wait and do that at the end. It makes it easier to do it at the end. I see where you're going with it, though. Okay. They want to know, what's the change in altitude? What does altitude mean? How high it went up. So we're trying to find this.
How high it
Is that adjacent? Well, that would be
Okay. So when I cover my reference angle, X is opposite, and we have hypotenuse. So it's so again. So that means sine of my angle equals X over 2. So this time when I cross multiply, I end up with 1 times X, which is X, 2 times the sine of 15. So here, Jeremiah, X is already by itself, so you multiply. Does that just click? Okay. So now all I have to do is plug this in.
Could you potentially do instead of it being 2 times the sine of 15, just do the sine of 30?
No, completely different thing.
I got 0.517.
0.517. Okay. This is in miles. They want it in feet. How do I fix that?
Okay. Divide it.
5,280 feet in a mile. 5,280 feet equals 1 mile. So what do I need to do with this to get it in feet? Multiply it by 5,280.
That's like roughly 3,000, 2,000 something. Yeah, something like that.
Okay, so your plane is 2,733 feet in the air.
That's one good man.
Wait. I was about to say wait, that's not.
Okay. You've got 2 vocabulary words that you need to associate yourself with word problems. Okay. The first one is called your angle of elevation. What does it mean to elevate? To go up. So, if we're looking at an angle of elevation, it's the angle at the ground. It's the angle that goes from the ground up. So it's the angle between the horizontal and the line of sight up to the beehive. So what we have right here is Jason standing so many feet away from this tree. Jason's 4 feet away from the tree. I'm going to make this bigger. You're just not going to be able to see the word problem. You've got it in front of you, though, so you can see what I'm drawing. Okay. So here's Jason, and he's 4 feet from this tree. Okay. Jason's looking up to this beehive. So the line of sight goes from Jason to the beehive. So where's my right angle? Right by the tree. The tree and the ground make this right angle. Yes.
I might be being sure, but wouldn't we like base it off the height of the eyes? I don't.
That does sound.
No, because then it would be a square.
It wouldn't. It would just move the triangle up.
But then it wouldn't really be a right triangle, would it? Because then it would move the right points.
We can just write it not to scale.
Or you could just not think
So-
about it so much.
The thing that I need you to get out of this is when it says the angle of elevation, that means the angle that goes from the ground up. So when they say angle of elevation, it's this angle that forms this right here. Okay, more paper. Wow, I'm killing my paper supply now. That's just for this one. I don't use that. Okay, so when they say the angle of elevation, that has to go down here. The final question then says, how high up is the hive in the tree? So what am I trying to find?
About 6 feet.
The height of the tree. I'm trying to find this. So which one am I using? Tangent. Okay, here X is your opposite side. Because if I cover this up, the tree is what I don't touch. 4 is your adjacent side. So I'm using tangent. So tangent of my angle is X over 4. Remember, this is TOA. So X goes on top, 4 goes on bottom. When I cross multiply, I get X equals 4 times the tangent of 76. Answer me this. Should the height of my tree be higher than the length along the ground?
I mean,
Definitely.
yes.
Why?
Because if he's standing like away from the tree, then it would have to be above him to make a triangle.
Not necessarily.
I mean, it can.
It would
Okay,
have to be
so
above
here,
him to make a
here.
triangle.
Answer me this. This is 90 degrees. This is 76 degrees. So what's this?
Like 14.
14 degrees. Remember, it has to equal 180. So
it's definitely
14 degrees associates with the smaller side of the triangle. 76 is the bigger side, and your hypotenuse should be the biggest.
See, I told you it was taller.
It's always opposite. So if this angle is bigger than this angle, that means that this side should be bigger than this side. So you should have an answer that's bigger than 4. It's a good way to check yourself.
So X equals 15.
So what I'm trying to get at there, Shelby, because she's like, you just confuse the heck out of me. If I have any type of triangle, okay? You remember when we did the 30, 60, 90?
Yeah.
So this was 90. If this was 30 and this was 60, that meant that this was my small leg and this was my big leg. My small leg's across from the smaller angle. My big leg's across from the bigger angle. That works no matter what they are.
Okay.
So this side is across from the bigger angle, so this side should be bigger than this side, no matter what, okay? So that's a good way to check yourself. What did we get when we plugged this in? 16.04. And this should be in feet.
Do you have to write them?
I mean, they're going to give you answer choices, but any type of word problem, you should always have a unit with it.
If we didn't have feet for the last one, would it have like
What was the second one?
Right. Okay. So we talked angle of elevation. Now we're going to talk angle of depression. So elevate is to go up. Depression is to go down. Okay, so when they're talking angle of depression, that means that you have a ceiling. Okay, when they're talking angle of depression, that means you have a ceiling. And the angle of depression goes from the ceiling down to the object. So here. Okay. Your angle of depression goes from the ceiling down. So if I start at the ceiling, my angle of depression goes from here down. So that makes my angle of depression here. Ceiling down. Okay, as always, we're creating a right triangle, so I need this third line, and here's my right angle. Mm-hmm. Okay, so the last piece of information they give us is the light in the lighthouse is 150 feet taller than the boat. Where does 150 go on my triangle?
On
This up and down side.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is 150 feet. They want to know how far away is the boat from the lighthouse?
Wait, why is that sign?
Because it says it's 150 feet taller than the boat. So tall's talking about
I
height.
thought it would have been on the light.
It would, but it's on this side. It's okay. It's still the same thing.
That doesn't sound too good for your boat.
Okay. How far away is the boat from the lighthouse? So what am I looking for?
No, the top side.
The top side. They want to know how far away the boat is from the lighthouse. They want to know the distance between the boat and the lighthouse. So we're actually looking for this.
You're adjacent.
Okay, so 150 is my what side?
You're a hypotenuse. No. You're opposite.
My opposite. X is my
Adjacent.
adjacent. So yes, Jeremiah, we're using tangent. So we've got tangent of my angle equals 150 over X. Okay, so when I put this over 1 and cross multiply, I get 150 equals X times the tangent of 63. So we have one extra step with this one. We've got to divide by the tangent of 63. You said what? 76.4, and this should be in feet. Okay, so the biggest thing is paying attention. Angle of elevation, ground up. Angle of depression, ceiling down.
Can you not look at it as like elevation up, depression down?
Okay, last two.
Oh, Miss Smith, do you know when the shirts are coming in, the hoodies?
I have no idea.
So they're not gonna be this week.
You ain't getting no.
I have no clue.
This will be after Christmas.
Okay, give them.
I promise you I will get it. I still have my whole list over there of who got what, where, when, why, how. Okay, so read the whole question first before you draw your picture so you know, do I need a ceiling or do I need a floor? The owl is 14 feet up in the tree, and the angle of elevation between the mouse and the owl is 65 degrees. How far away is the mouse from the base of the tree? Do I need a ceiling or a floor? I need a floor. We're talking elevation. So I need a floor, and from the floor up. So I need this triangle. Okay. So, I mean, if you want to get particular, here's your owl. Oh my God. This is, it looks like, I don't even know.
I thought Tatum was like.
Here's my little mouse, squeak squeak, with its curly tail.
Why is the mouse bigger?
Shut up!
Why is the mouse bigger?
Y'all are not nice to me. My name is not Miss Thompson. I can't draw.
She said, "Neither did she."
All right. So we need to label what we can. It says the owl's 14 feet up in the tree. Where does that go? On the side. 14 feet over here. Angle of elevation 65. So that's at the ground. How far away is the mouse from the base of the tree? Am I looking for the hypotenuse or the other leg? The other leg. So we're using, we've got opposite and adjacent. So we're using tangent. Good, TOA. So tangent of 65 is 14 over x. Okay. Most of you have probably figured out by now, when it's 14 over x, that means you need to divide. Okay. So my final answer then is x is going to be 14 divided by the tangent of 65. And we need to find x.
Seven.
6.5. 6 point.
You wouldn't round it up?
It all depends on what they want you to do. So if they say round to the nearest whole number, then yes, your answer would be 7. If they say round to the nearest 10th, your answer would be 6.5. If they say nearest 100th, it would be 6.52. It doesn't. It doesn't. So I could have taken 7 here. If they don't specify, I could take whatever. Okay. And this should be in feet. Questions on that one? Good. Okay, last one. If the diagonal distance between the owl and the mouse is 13 feet, and the angle of depression between the mouse and the owl is 82 degrees, how high up is the owl? Do I need a floor or a ceiling?
Ceiling.
I need a ceiling. From the ceiling down is my angle of depression. So that means 82 goes here. Where does 13 go? That's your hypotenuse. Okay. And what do I need to find? The height. So I'm looking for this leg on the side, how high up it is. I'm looking for this. Okay, so I'm looking for the opposite side, and I have the hypotenuse. So we're using so. So sine of my angle equals x over 13. When x is in top, that means we multiply. 13 times the sine of 82. 12.8. 12.9 feet.
Miss, I have a question.
Yes.
Are we gonna use all the pages in this book?
No. We're finishing off, I think, at 168 or something.
True said yesterday.
Oh, you listened yesterday?
I heard something about 168. That's the thing.